So one of my cousins, she's in college now. She's gonna be a veterinarian. So she's still in school. But when she was like 5 or 6 years old, she went to class one day, and the teacher decided to ask all the students who still believed in Santa Claus. And my cousin at 6 or 7 years old still believed in Santa Claus. And she was about to raise her hand, but she decided to look around the room, and she saw that nobody was raising their hand. And she didn't want to look different than everybody else or be laughed at. So she refrained from raising her hand. But I don't understand why teachers, why adults have to do that to kids. To me, that's a little bit disrespectful. Like, you should just hold back. You don't have to do everything that you think is right, especially when other people don't think the same way, especially little kids who are still developing. It's just wrong. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and she said when her kid was 5 years old, she held the door open for somebody, and the person said thank you, and so she told the person, God bless you, and the person told her, God doesn't exist. Now my friend said she had to count to 10 to refrain from going off on this person for telling your daughter that. Because like I said, these kids are just still developing. They don't need adults to tell them to shatter their dreams, to shatter their world. For some reason, they feel like they have to do that. And so she counted to 10. She calmed herself down so she wouldn't go off on this person. Took her daughter aside and told her, look, people are going to say a lot of things to you. You're going to see a lot of things on the internet. You're going to hear a lot of things. Your friends are going to say a lot of things. But what you got to do is you got to listen to your heart. And that I thought was such great advice. Listen to your heart. And it's not like getting emotional and thinking emotionally or feeling emotionally. It's almost like a gut feeling. It's your heart. It's like, speaking to God almost. Being emotional is a totally different thing. Because when you become emotional, like anger, your logic goes out the window, your rationality goes out the window. But she said, listen to your heart. What your heart tells you. Okay? Yeah, there's a lot of people who are atheists who don't believe in God. But that's their opinion. That's their belief. You shouldn't try to force it on people, especially little kids. And believing in God is logical. Atheists think because they can't see God that he doesn't exist, that he's an imaginary friend. That's what atheists believe. But it's more logical to think that we came from something than to think we came from nothing. Boom, we just appeared out of nowhere. That's very illogical. It's more logical to think that we came from something. Okay? Just because you can't see God doesn't mean he doesn't exist. Just because you can't see things doesn't mean they don't exist. We can't see our thoughts, but our thoughts exist. Why do they exist? Because we experience them. Okay, and a lot of people experience God. And if you don't believe in him, he will allow you to be deceived. It says it in the Bible. He will allow people who don't believe to be deceived. He will allow them to. Give it a shot. Start believing and see what happens. I mean, there are so many stories out there. There are thousands and thousands of stories about people's lives changing as soon as they start believing. Why do you think there's so many stories like that? Because as soon as you start believing, God will allow you to experience Him like you experience thoughts, even though you can't see thoughts. Thoughts have energy. God has energy. We have energy. Everything has energy. Okay? Just give it a shot. Start believing and see what happens. See if your life changes. It's logical to believe we were created. Just because you can't see thoughts doesn't mean they don't exist, because we experience thoughts. Just because you can't see God doesn't mean He doesn't exist, because those who believe experience God. Okay? Give it a shot.